Alright, so let's talk about the Knicks' much anticipated bench, because coming into this game, I had no clue how it was going to perform, and to be completely honest, it just blew me away. Precious Achiuwa played 33 minutes, 15 points, 5 boards, 2 steals, a block, 2 assists, just stuffed the stat sheet. Next to him, Jericho Sims, 21 minutes, guys, goes out there and grabs 10 boards, 2 assists, 3 points. Sims looks a lot bigger than he was last year, more explosive. I think he's going to have a big time season. We talked all off season about Nick Richards and Walker Kessler and Clint Capella, all these centers that the Knicks potentially could trade for, and they were trying to trade for. But what about Jericho Sims? I mean, you've already got him, team option, he's cheap, he's a homegrown player, you took him in the second round a couple of years ago. I mean, he won't even be 26 until next month, so he's still young. I definitely think Sims has what it takes to be our backup big behind Karl-Anthony Towns, assuming we trade Mitchell Robinson, or Mitch is just hurt, which he is right now. I mean, Sims was very good in this game, guys. Yes, he definitely has to expand his game more, but he's working on it. But in terms of the rebounds and the putbacks, the screen setting ability, it's definitely there. Cameron Payne, we'll get him in a little bit. I want to talk about the guys in the thumbnail. So that's going to be Miles McBride, and then we also decided to go with Landry Shamet. So Miles McBride, in my opinion, was, I would say, the best player in this game overall, especially for the Knicks. Deuce, 4 of 9 from 3, 22 points, 8 of 18. He just kept us in this game. If you look at the first quarter, we were outscored 35-29. The Hornets could not miss from 3. The starting lineup didn't really play that great just because it's a bunch of new faces and the Hornets were shooting it well. The Knicks were getting good looks, but they just couldn't knock it down. We weren't shooting it. And then McBride came in off the bench and just got hot in a hurry. I want to say the first, 12 minutes, he had 12 points. I mean, guys, he was just knocking down shot after shot. He looked great, has shown no signs of slowing down. Shot 41% from 3 last year. It's looking like McBride's gotten even better. And, of course, Ian Begley reported this morning that the Knicks are not looking to trade Miles McBride, right? But also that was said about Randall. So if they can get a big-time upgrade, I mean, they probably would, but I wouldn't expect it, man. I think McBride's just too important. He's our sixth man. I mean, he's just as important as the starters, guys. McBride, we saw in the playoffs what he was able to do. He started some games, averaged 17. McBride was great in this game. Also defensively, I thought played well too. And then Landry Shamet, this is probably the biggest surprise to me, man. Yeah, I know Shamet, career 38% three-point shooter. I know he's played in some big moments, but he's a guy that's trying to make the roster. I mean, he's essentially in a tryout. And Shamet, 4 of 8 from 3, has a lightning quick release, 16 points, plus 8 in this game. 6 of 11 from the field, 27 minutes. Shamet doesn't need the ball, but when he gets it, he's so effective with it. I mean, Shamet impressed me, man. I mean, my biggest takeaway in this game might be Landry Shamet, because certainly Miles McBride, what he did not surprise me. I saw it the entire year. But Shamet, he's impressed the Knicks. I think he's a lock to make the roster. I legitimately think Shamet's a lock to make this roster, and he showed exactly why in this game. And then let's talk about Cameron Payne. I thought from a leader standpoint, he did a good job. He knocked down a 3 late in this fourth quarter. It was like a minute 14 left or something like that. That was just a much-needed shot. I mean, if he doesn't make that, we might lose this game. It seemed like the momentum was swaying. Payne was 5 of 14, 1 of 7 from 3, 6 assists. He just stuffed the stat sheet. But Payne just, the energy he provided to the young guys around him, because there's a lot of young guys that were playing around him. The bench is going to be young. Yeah, we picked up T.J. Warren and Landry Shamet, and we picked up Cam Payne, but McBride, and we saw, of course, Tyler Kolek, who I'm about to get into. Jacob Toppen's a young guy. I mean, Jericho Sims, he's young, I would say. Yeah, so it's like a lot of younger players that don't have the most amount of experience, and you can see Payne was just being that leader out there for them. And that's what I like about Cameron Payne too, is he's just going to be a big piece off of our bench, and he's just going to be the perfect player, perfect fit for Madison Square Garden too. And he played well against us in the first round when he was with Philly too. Jacob Toppen, 13 minutes, 4 rebounds. Toppen overall was kind of quiet in this game. I thought that he gave us a spark with just his athleticism. Of course, he had the alley-oop, which was pretty cool. And then you got Chuma Okeke, who played 10 minutes. Didn't really touch the ball that much, if we're being honest. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of forgot he was on the roster, because he's a guy that's trying to make the roster. So, and he's not listed on our depth chart on ESPN, which also is kind of the thing too. Precious Achiuwa, we talked about, man, just stuffed the stat sheet. Achiuwa doesn't have much of an offensive game. he did take 2 threes, but if he could work on his 3, which I know he is, legitimately he would be a very, very valuable piece to us. He already is, but I'm talking about game-changing type of piece that Precious can work on that jumper, mid-range three-pointer, both of them preferably. But I mean, they weren't even guarding him out there, man, and rightfully so. There's a lot of times where the offense for the bench was so stagnant just because guys didn't really know what to do with it. And once we went to Tyler Kolek, that certainly changed. And it's one game. I'm not quite ready to say that I was wrong about Tyler Kolek. I did say a couple of videos ago that I didn't think we'd see much of him. Not that I was disrespecting him or anything. Like, I love Tyler Kolek. I love the pick, and I think he's going to be a stud. But I just thought, like, his athleticism, his defense, at the next level might hold him back right away. That was not the case. 14 minutes plus 9, 3 of 5 from the field. All of those were threes. Made, of course, both of his free throws. Kolek also defensively had 2 steals. He was active. He was a good help defender. He also had a block, didn't he? Yeah. He blocked one of the Hornets guards when he drove to the basket. I mean, and we saw that in the preseason. Kolek was putting up defensive stats. The reason why I'm saying I'm wrong is just because we don't really have much playmaking outside of Jalen Brunson. I'm looking at Landry Shamet, Miles McBride, and Payne. Well, they don't exactly provide much playmaking. So to have Kolek go out there and just run the offense, everything was so smooth around him. He set guys for some wide open looks. You just don't see looks that wide open at the NBA level very often. And Kolek too, clutch shots. If Kolek didn't play in this game, I don't think we win. I mean, of course, the open looks and knocking down those threes, the ball was just finding him. It typically has a tendency to do that, man. It was like a magnet out there. I mean, Kolek was great. He's not going to be on the thumbnail, which, I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to lie. The thumbnail was made before he even checked in, but if it were to be remade, he probably would be. Jericho Sims, Tyler Kolek, Landry Shamet, Miles McBride. I mean, those were the guys to me that really stood out, and they helped us win this game. And I did want to win this game too because my football team lost earlier. If you guys are a Jets fan, then you know. But yeah, the Knicks just they go out there and they find a way to win this game. There was a lot to take away. I don't think there was really any negatives in this game. Yeah, the starting lineup wasn't that efficient, to be real with you, but I mean, it's the first game of the preseason. I was mostly focused on the bench, and there was a stretch where the bench actually was against their starters, and we didn't look that great, but once we matched up with their bench, I mean, it just wasn't even that close, if I'm being honest with you. Yeah, it was a 2-point game, but I just think our bench is just way better than their bench, and more often than not, our starting lineup is going to outpower theirs, but the Hornets starting lineup actually was better than ours. LaMelo was knocking down threes. Brandon Miller was knocking down threes. Nick Richards looked like a man possessed. 9 boards, 8 points in 20 minutes of play. They were shooting the ball from 3 very, very well to start this game, but then they started to get cold a little bit, and we started to knock down shots, and we ended up winning. And guys, it's your boy Knicks Daily. I'm out. Peace.